Hi, I'm Allison, and this is Myrtle. That's Myrtle by Satsuma Street, and this is our Myrtle. Welcome to my Flosstube. Thanks, Myrtle. I hope you enjoyed the intro. Again, my name's Allison. Hi. Myrtle is one of our rescue animals, so I'll talk more about that later. This is my first time doing anything like this. I'm pretty much an introvert, so this is a big deal for me. I've got a piece of paper, so if you see me do this, I'm just looking down at my notes. I live in Arizona. We're about an hour north of Phoenix. I live with my husband, and like I said, we've got a bunch of rescue animals. I started cross-stitching in elementary school, and I have some of my first stitches over here that I'll show you. My mom taught me how to stitch. She cross-stitches, sews, not so much sewing anymore. She sewed our clothes when we were kids, does crewel, all sorts of stuff. So let's start with, I guess, first stitches. And excuse me if I pause and look down. I'm just not used to doing this. I found these in a memory box. My mom put together a box for me years ago, and she saved these, which is great. These are needlepoint, and if you're about my age, some of you may actually have done these when you were little. Look at that. Oh yeah, that's some quality work there. That's not bad. These were kits. I'm sure they were from a craft store or Michael's. And here's another one. Isn't that cute? Because everybody knows that koalas sit in neon green cactus in front of a pink sky, but it's still cute. Then for my first actual cross stitches, I don't have them, but I remember them, and I've been looking for them and I can't find them. My mom used to work with Creative Circle. It was kind of like Tupperware, but with needlework, and she gave me a couple little squares of fabric and extra floss. And I remember asking her how to spell the word coffee. I didn't know how to spell it, so that gives you an idea of my age. And I stitched a little tiny coffee cup and wrote the word coffee underneath, and then I did another one that was a little teacup and wrote the word tea underneath. I hope I can find them one day, because that would be really fun. I also brought out some more oldies but goodies. I spent a lot of my 30s in school. I have 3 college degrees. I work as a pharmacist. And one of the first things I did when I finished school was pick up my hobbies and my crafts again. So I have some really awesome cross stitch here. You guys will get a kick out of this. You ladies, I should say, excuse me. I got this, I'm sure I got this at Michael's. This was probably a dimensions kit. They tend to have all that back stitching, and this was plain wood, and I painted it. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but I didn't even iron it. It's got like a circle mark in there, and that's dated in the corner. I usually put my initials and the date that I stitch things to help keep track of them, and it's that great 14 count white Aida. And I did another one. I'm sure I bought them both on the same day. Nice beach theme, living in the desert. It's always fun to do a beach stitch. Again, same little wood frame, painted it. These hang in my office. I do work from home, which is very fortunate. And I've got another one, and I had some extra seashells and a glue gun, which can be dangerous. Sorry for the glare, I'm in front of a window. And one of the seashells came off when I took it off the wall, so I scotch taped it. I'll have to fix it. And for fun, I also brought my first quilt. You can see a quilt behind me here. That one I did in 2019, I think. Let me see. Let me check. Nope, sorry, 2021. And the pattern is Layer Cake Lemonade, and the fabric was called Autumn Day. So this was probably my second or third quilt, but my first quilt, February, March 2021. Just some charm squares I got from Amazon, and I watched a couple videos. It's really small, but I use it every day, and the dogs sit on it too, so it's a little grungy at this point. But I watched lots of different videos and taught myself how to do that by watching videos. I sewed this one on a Brother Project runway machine, which actually my mom now has, and she uses that. You can see the quilting's not really the best, but for a first try, I didn't think it was that bad. I'm looking at my notes. So what I've set aside to do today, I've got a pile of my current whips, and then over here, you'll see me reaching, I have a couple of finishes, and then I put the Halloween stuff together, and I have some things from my mom too, so she doesn't know. I'm going to show some of her stuff. I generally stitch on, excuse me, larger count, 10, 14. I've done some 16 and 18. I don't think I have any of that to show today, but I do have some stitches with that. And then also too, I don't want to forget at the end, I have to thank several floss tubers, so that's coming up. My first whip, I've got it in these Lori Holt project bags. They were a panel, and you follow the instructions and make them. This is the temperature cross stitch pattern by Fat Quarter Shop, and I don't know why, but I decided to stitch both the high and the low temperatures. So this is my high temperatures for the year, and I'm caught up through September, I think 25th, and then these are the lows. You can really see the difference. See all that red in this one? I actually added 2 more reds to the chart so I could get the higher temperatures from 100 to 109 and 110 and up. And there's quite a bit of the over 100 in here. I am looking forward to getting that one done. It's hard for me to stitch. I don't stitch on it every day, so I tend to get behind, and then I have to stitch a week at a time on both. I'm going to set this on the floor, so I'm going to bend over. It'll probably look weird. Okay. I have a weird sense of humor too, so I hope you get used to it. I hope you come back. I'm stitching the Chicken Club, although I fell behind. I joined this. This was Fat Quarter Shop, Lori Holt project, and I started it when it started, but it's hard for me to keep up with stitch alongs. We're very busy. We both work. We have our animal sanctuary. I also quilt and sew, and it's mostly the animals. But this is the first one. This is Cornelius. This is on the called for, and it's 14 count fabric flare chicken wire. I'm going to bring it a little closer. It's got that really fun chicken wire print. That's Cornelius. And the next one I have done is Florence. I actually only have 2 of them totally complete. And I have my finishing idea for these, but there's going to be 12 of them. So it's going to be a while before they're before I catch up and they're all finished and put together. But I'm getting them as they're released. You can buy them as PDF or hard copy. So I'm collecting them so I don't lose track. And the next one I was working on, and there's a reason why I stopped at this point. This is Hattie. Sorry, I've got a needle minder right there. And this is how far I am on Hattie. I actually had the entire background of this body filled in, but I filled it in with the wrong color. It was filled in with the dark red that goes up here instead of the dark pink. And when I was stitching this one, my dog, who I fondly refer to as my best friend, who I got in 2009, she passed away. She was diagnosed with heart failure in 2019, and the vet gave her 6 months to live. And I remember that ER vet visit and the vet saying, you know, basically, did you want to put her down today? And I, of course, said, no, we want to do what we can do. I'm a pharmacist. I know there's medications. So she made it from 2019 till June 2023. And I haven't picked this back up yet to stitch on it. It makes me think of her. So it's probably going to still sit for a little while. All I've been able to do so far is rip out the wrong color. But that's what I did with that one. And then it's in one of these project bags from Fat Quarter Shop. Here's a, whoops, cute little charm. Okay, I gotta bend over again. And just to let everyone know, I was supposed to say it in the beginning, but this is my first time doing this, and I'm sorry, I forgot. I do also have a couple Instagrams, website for the animals, I have an Etsy shop, and I'll share all that information at the end. This isn't to promote the Etsy shop, but you will see some of my items because I do design cross-stitch patterns. And that's my current whip right now, is I'm designing a cross-stitch pattern. And I will show you some of them at the end. So I can't show it, but here's a little sneak peek, if anyone's actually watching. So this will be, looking at it, I hope to finish it soon. Sorry if you heard that, that was an alarm. I already took care of that. That was for one of our animals needing medication. I took care of that before I start the video. But anyway, hopefully I'll finish this one soon. You can kind of tell by the fabric. It's white snow on aqua fabric flare 14 count. It's winter themed, so I need to get it done, need to get it in the shop. Sometimes it's hard for me to find time to stitch. I generally stitch at night, and I have a dog who's back there behind me. There's a couch back there. And I'll show you what she does when I stitch. Because I stitch at night and she gets a snack before bed. So if I'm stitching and she's ready for her snack, she does this. And then she starts growling at me. So if you put something in front of your face, like your chart, this is what you'll see. So she kind of gets in your face. So sometimes there are nights when she's just a little worked up and I give her her snack and I'm tired anyway and I go to bed early. We start our day sometimes before 5, but generally between 5 and 5:30. Okay. This one I'll show. I'm going to show the project bag on this one too. I do make project bags. There will be more coming in my shop. They're not there right now. Again, short on time, so I only sew a few at a time, and I always post them on my Instagram and then they go in the shop. So this was my, let me take the chart out so you can see the bag. I made a few of these, I just sold the last one. Gives you an idea of kind of the bags that I sew. And then on the inside, I did a nice polka dot. But again, I'm working on some holiday bags. I'll try to get those in soon. This one is kitted but not started. This is Hold Tight. I should probably take it out of the plastic. This is a Twin Peak Primitives. I'm sorry if that crinkles. I have no idea yet how the sound is going to work out with this. I'm going to start this as soon as I finish my chart that I want to get in the shop. The one thing I was a little disappointed about is it's in black and white and it's kind of small, so it's a little hard to read. I hope I'm going to be able to do it. I may have to do a Xerox and blow it up to work with it. But I had the perfect fabric, 14 count fabric flare. Can you sense a trend here? I just love their fabric though. This one's got cobwebs on it. There's my little needle minder. Those are by Bev McCullough Flamingo Toes. One of the reasons I really like fabric flare, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, not really, but it's not super crunchy like Zweigart Ada, which I have some projects on Zweigart Ada, which is very, very stiff, but it's not so soft that it's hard for me to work with. I tend to work in Q-snaps, and I've got a Loran floor stand, so you clamp the stand on the side, and then I'm a two-handed stitcher. I stitch with my left hand on top and my right hand on the bottom, and it makes it go as fast as it's ever going to go for me. I've tried stitching in hand. I find it very uncomfortable. I know a lot of people like it, but I get like hand cramps because I tend to like really grip it. Okay. Now this has some finishes and one that's kitted up. Here's another bag I made. These did all sell, but I need to get more in the shop. This was actually my first project bag I made. And this was Lori Holt scrap fabrics that I had. And what I learned from making this one is I like them better lined. This I used a fusible fleece. It's nice and soft, but I like it better with batting and lined on the inside. It lends a little more stability. So this is the only one I haven't done yet. These are the Flower Friends series from Satsuma Street. That's Ellie, the elephant. Sorry, it's in plastic again. I have not done that one yet. You saw at the beginning, I did finish Myrtle. And these are the called for colors. This is all DMC. And this is on, it's actually in the bag. Witchel's Icelandic Beige, 14 count. So that's the fabric. And I'm keeping them all the same. Now this frame, this wood frame, it's definitely different. And I didn't really finish off the back, you can see that. I just sort of folded it and put it in the hoop, and then the elastic holds it. I didn't lace it or finish it or put fabric on it in case I decide at some point I wanted to change it, so I just put it in there. But so far that's been good. And the information on the frames, they're inside these patterns. And you can see that the lady from, let's see, Jody Rice, Satsuma Street, she painted the frames. I kind of like the natural wood. And that was Myrtle. Ellie's not done. I believe this one is called Birdie, if I remember correctly. I have the pattern filed because I've completed it. And it's B-E-R-T-I-E. And I think I might sneeze, so if I sneeze, I'm sorry. I have allergies. Again, DMC, and I'm keeping the fabric the same on all of these. And I really liked, when I made this project bag, I just thought, it's perfect. I know what's in here by the colors. So we'll put those away. And I do have all the colors for Ellie. I just haven't started it yet. I tend to work on a couple things at a time, so right now I have that temperature cross stitch actively going, and I need to finish my chart. And whenever I work on a chart that I design and want to get into the shop, I tend to put everything else on hold because I need to get it done quickly, and I'm not the fastest stitcher. This one is kitted and not started, and again, it's a fat quarter shop project bag. This one I bought because my husband loves to cycle. This is a big one. I may keep this maybe as a New Year's start. It's by Bothy Threads, called Cycling Fun. It's a kit. It's on 14 count white Ada. I don't want to change it because it was a kit. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it. But it's got all the threads. Oh, I can't show you because you'll see the chart on the back. That'll probably be a start for the first of the year. That's a very big piece for me. I do have a couple of big pieces that I finished, and I think I'll save those and show them in another Flosstube if anybody actually watches. So those are my current whips and what I have kitted. I have a couple of finishes I haven't FFO'd, so I'll show those. And if you've been on my Instagram, you've seen these. This is Happy Farm Girl by Lori Holt. These are the called for Orifloss colors. So 2 strands of Orifloss. And I wrote down my fabrics. It's a 14 count fabric flare. Let's see. It's called Pale Parchment Dyed Effect. You can kind of see some of the colors in there. Oops, there's a string. And fabric flare on the back is white. So there's no mistaking which side to use. And I know what I'm going to do with this, so I will try to FFO this before the next video. And I've also been working this year, once a month I'm stitching the Heart and Hand monthly markings. Here is October. This is on 10 count Heritage. It's a Lori Holt vintage cloth. So I'm actually using 4 strands on this. Let me see if I can get it real close. I'm using Weeks Dye Works. I'm pulling from colors I have on hand, so it doesn't necessarily match the chart. I think I have this chart still in my bag. This is another one of those bags that I made. And that, I believe, is a Lori Holt charm. Let's see. Yep, I do. Okay. So here is the chart. And these are charted in a combination of Weeks Dye Works and Gentle Art, and then there's a conversion for Anchor and DMC. These models are stitched on a 32 count using 2 strands of Weeks or Gentle Art. And these are about, the way I have it stitched, they're about 3 inches square. Now I add at the bottom of each, I add the month, and it looks a little rough because this is 10 count. This is really loose. And then I put my initials and the month and the year. I'm going to show you how I FFO these because obviously I don't have October done. It's on the list, and it's a long list. I use this tin. I got this at, I think, Hobby Lobby. I can't remember the last time I was in a Michael's, so it must have been Hobby Lobby. This is September's. Oops, it's a little crooked. There's magnets on the back, and something I've learned, and I'll show you. When I make these, when I do the FFO, I'm usually using a glue gun. And I've got the sticky board, and then sticky board with a little bit of batting behind this so it looks a little puffy. And then this is a Rick Rack, or specifically Lori Holt vintage trim, but I always say Rick Rack because I remember it from when I was a little kid. And I use a glue gun, I glue on the magnets, and I really need to use my E6000 because, see, that magnet's stuck to the tin. It came off from the back. So you can display up to 4 at a time, which I'm going to have to do, but what's neat about finishing this way, here's the rest of them. Everything tucks in. And then at the beginning of the year, I decided how I wanted to do the FFO for these, and I made myself a note so I know what size sticky board to cut, 4.5 and 3.5, and then I cut my batting ahead of time, so I had all that done. And before I started stitching all of these, I decided on my cloth size, and I pre-cut, I don't think, oh, it's not in this bag, but I pre-cut all the cloth ahead of time, and I serged the edges. I have a serger. I have a really nice serger, and so far all I've done is serge hedgehog blankets, guinea pig blankets, and edges of cross stitch cloth. It's on the list of things I want to learn how to use. So since this is my first Flosstube, and I really would like everybody to come back and be entertained, I will show you all of these since we haven't been here since the beginning of the year. So I'm pulling these out so I can show you in order. And I bet some of the magnets are going to fall off because I used the glue gun instead of E6000. Okay, so let's start. And all of these I did with Weeks Dye Works. Again, 4 strands because it's on that 10 count cloth. Some of the colors are called for and some are my own because I didn't have what was called for in the pattern. There's January. And this is a kind of a simple background. I kept the backgrounds simple because I don't want them to compete with the stitching. And of course, I don't get snowmen where I live in Arizona. So that's about as close to it as I'm going to get. February. And this background, it's white with little tiny sprinkles. Just scraps left over from quilting projects, and all the trim on these is Lori Holt vintage trim. That's February. March. Let's see, this background I think is a gray grunge. That's what it looks like, or a gray, just a simple gray textured print. And then I've got to get these all back in as I'm going, and they're kind of falling all over the place. So when I put them in, that's how I start, and then I just go in a circle all the way around. This is April, and I know those are not the called for colors. They were really different on the chart. Sorry, my nose itches. Plain pink background, pink and white trim. Must be that dreaded Flosstube nose that I've heard so much about. May. Nice blue to try and complement the blue bird, and a little red trim to complement the ladybug. Let's look at June. That's another thing we don't do much of here is gardening. It's really hard to garden here. It's hot, and where we live, we've tried. We moved up where we live now several years ago, and there's a lot of wildlife. And my husband had a garden at the old house. He had a little raised bed garden and grew lettuce and everything. We got up here and we built one and we planted it, and just within a day the rabbits just ate everything. We have desert cottontail rabbits just gone. We also have squirrels up here. We never had squirrels where we used to live, and for some reason here we've got squirrels. So you can't grow anything here. We even tried putting the rabbit-proof fencing. No, they just kind of go like this, and then they get inside, and then they eat everything, and then they leave. July. It's another solid background. I just dive into my scrap bin and I'm trying to keep them simple because I don't want to compete with the stitching. And August. This one was fun because you can actually really see the variegation here. You don't see it in a lot of these just because they're a small stitch and I'm using 4 threads. I think that's why they don't tend to show up as well. So this tin I keep by my front door. I've got a little display, little cabinet, and right now it's decorated all with Halloween, but that's all over here in the basket because I took it down to show all of you. So I would have some fun things to show. So here you go. There's my tin. Now I went through my Halloween stuff and I wrote down all the finishing and everything I could remember and the chart names. And excuse me, I'm not used to like hair, makeup, all this, so if it looks bad, feel free to tell me politely in the comments, but don't say, "Whoa, geez, lady, way too much makeup." Just be nice about it, okay? This was fun. This was from a Primrose Cottage. I think they're called Sip and Stitch. So it's Primrose Cottage Stitches Happy Halloween. And this is on a 14 count. I think it says Weigart Graceful Gray or something like that. This came with the week's die works, so I went ahead and used what it came with. This is a Kimberbell Basics, and that's also Kimberbell on the back, Kimberbell fabric. And there's just a pillow form on the inside. Envelope backs are really easy to do because all you have to do is get a couple pieces that are going to fit your fabric. Just make sure you do a nice fold over and just, you know, stitch it so it gives you that clean edge. But this goes by the front door. I'll do another impression of my dog. Sorry. I'm around animals all day, guys. I work from home. I do work phones. But for the most part, I talk to animals all day. I'll tell you a little bit more about my animals at the end. The next one is Hen's Halloween Tea by Tiny Modernist, and there is glass on this frame, so I hope it doesn't glare too much. Let's see. I'll just do that. Oh, you can see I've got a ring light. I'm not using it though. It's nice and bright today. I'll make a note next time to take things out of glass. Maybe I can. I don't know if I can shade it. Sorry. I didn't realize it would be so much glare. I prefer using the window light over the ring light. This is on 14 count natural Zweigart. It's a mix of threads. Let me get my face out of the picture there. It's a mix of DMC and I think it's Classic Colorworks because some of the colors are variegated. So I'll try and do better with that next time. I'll watch for the glass. I'll try and keep that in mind. Next, I do have a couple of my own charts. These are in my Etsy shop. And again, you'll see a mix of my stuff because it is my channel and other designers. This one is called Happy Hedgieween. We have 3 rescue hedgehogs right now. We've had many over the years. This one is one of the few charts, I think I only have 2. I charted it with Classic Colorworks, but I give a DMC conversion. I was just trying things out to see what they look like. I did a flat fold with sticky board and fabric, and this is Chelsea's Checks fabric. There's 4 pieces of sticky board, 2 on each side, and then another one to hold my piece. So this little flap at the bottom is tucked in between these 2 pieces of sticky board. So if you want to do this, you fabric wrap your sticky board and then you sandwich this in between the 2 like that. And to make it stick, the fabric that's on this one is longer and it comes over in between these 2 pieces here. And that's how it all becomes one piece. The little bow is just part of some ribbon. There's a ribbon pack on Amazon with fall colors. So that is that, and it is on 14 count fabric flare hazy gray dyed effect. You can kind of see the gray has some different shades in the background. That is my Happy Hedgieween. And I have another small chart. Most of my charts are small because I don't have a lot of time because I work and we take care of all the animals. I wish I had more time. I really enjoy crafting and making charts. Designing the charts is really fun. I started doing that, I think, last year. I do all my test stitching, all the artwork is my own. I often change things as I'm test stitching because I'll find it doesn't show how I think it's going to show, or it looks different on the computer, so it's a challenge. This one is called Boo Squared. And this is also on the 14 count hazy gray dyed effect. I have a series of these charts with the square. If you're new to cross stitch, if you're a beginner, or I've seen some people, they buy these for their kids because they tend to be, they're on the smaller side. They're good quick stitches. They're really good for smalls. You can just stitch one square, and if you have those little, they're like these little round tart tin things, I think they'll fit in there. But you can also make little pillows out of them. Good for smalls. This material here and here, again, this is fabric wrapped sticky board, and then this is on sticky board, so 3 layers. This is Priscilla's Pretty Plaids. I get that at a Fat Quarter Shop. You can buy it at any fabric shop, I think. The pumpkin comes like this. It was off of Amazon. You can just search for wood cutouts, or you can find them in craft stores. And I have some paint in my closet because I'm a lifelong crafter, so I just dove into the closet and grabbed some paint and I painted it. And this also hangs by the front door. So those are 2 of my charts. The next one I have is from an Etsy designer called Sugar Stitches. And this is Booville Trick or Treat. It's kind of hard to see the ghost. I did the ghost in glow in the dark. So when it's dark out, the ghost glows in the dark. It's not all called for. It's similar colors. In fact, the chart has sprinkles all throughout here and all these oddball stitches, and I picked a purple variegated DMC and did that instead. This little clip guy with the stand, I've had it for a while. I finished this chart in 2021. I think I got it from Fat Quarter Shop. There's no sticker on the back or anything, so you would just have to search for like metal pumpkin clipboard, something like that. Again, this is by my front door right now. I changed the front door seasonally. This one is a Lori Holt stitch card, and this is on a 10 count, so it's big, and you're going to see it again on a smaller count in a minute. And I did an ornament finish. It's a big ornament. 2 pieces of sticky board for the fabric, Chelsea's checks again, and then a piece of sticky board for the stitching. So I fabric wrap the sticky board and then bring the ribbon around and tuck it in, and then put the 2 pieces together so that hides the edge of the ribbon, and that also holds the tie so you can hang it up, and that's what helps make it an ornament. Probably should have stitched on smaller count. It's a big honking ornament, but it was fun. And I think 4 strands DMC. It's hard to tell. Oh, and there was thread on it, sorry. This is another big honkin' ornament. This one is, sorry, I lost my place. And I know I wrote it down. Oh, it's Ghoul's Garland by Stitching with the Housewives. It's on 14 count chalkboard black Ada. It's the called for classic color works. And I constructed this just like I constructed the other one, with the sticky board and the ribbon sandwiched in between. It's another fairly large ornament, but that's okay. I've got a little wire tree by the door, and it goes on the tree. Now I'm going to show 2 for Mom. Hi, Mom! Sorry, I know it's really stupid. And this one, oh, this has glass. This is from last year's Halloween Cross Stitch magazine. If I keep it at an angle, it doesn't reflect as poorly on the glass. It's a sloth riding a broom, wearing a witch hat. Next time I'll take glass off of things. I didn't realize it would be so much there'd be so much glare on that. Didn't she do a good job? Everybody give Mom a round of applause. And it's on a 14 count. I think it's on a 14 count, some kind of brown, tan, tea-dyed. Really cute. I like this one. So that goes by the door. And last year, my mom did the Halloween stitch cards from Lori Holt, and she gave me the frame, and I went ahead and framed it, and then on the very bottom, because she didn't sign her piece, I put Stitched by Mom. Oh, my little ribbon got flat. There we go. This is a Hobby Lobby piece. I'll go ahead and turn around. And again, this was 2022, so they might not have this same piece. What's nice about it though, you can see it's got a hook here and here. So with things like the stitch cards, if you're stitching those, you could do them this way, or you could do them this way. I really like this. This is lots of fun. I keep this one by my door. I do have some quilting. I don't know if everybody likes quilting, so before I show my quilting, I'm going to talk just a little bit about our rescue animals. I hope that's okay. I'm going to show my information, so if anybody's interested, here's my information. My husband and I have been rescuing animals since, well, before we even met. Lifelong animal people, and we started in 2009. We would go to the pet store to buy dog food or whatever we needed, and this pet store had a table with small animal turn-ins. So if people had a small animal, or what they call a pocket pet, and they couldn't take care of it anymore, the pet store would take it. So we'd go in for a bag of food, and we'd come home with a hamster. At one point we had 9 hamsters, and they all had their own cages, and they were all around the kitchen. So that's how it started. Right now we are over 40 animals. We have dogs, we've got 1 frog left that's at my husband's office, fish, birds, a large variety of reptiles, turtles, tortoises, lizards. We just took in a chinchilla, he's a lot of fun. Hedgehogs, we got a guinea pig, a couple potbelly pigs, a couple chickens. So if y'all like animals, let me know. Definitely put it in the comments, and I will show some animals every time. So I'm trying to keep that short. I'm going to show just a little bit of quilting because I don't know if everybody likes quilting. So let me know if you like to see quilting or not. And then I'm going to give some Flosstube thank yous, and I will do a little giveaway at the end. So it'd be great if you stayed to the end. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm working right now on it's called the Chickenless Chicken Salad, I think. It's the chicken salad pieced quilt version. Pat Sloan is doing a sew along. This is the latest block I completed. It's the hen block. And these blocks come out of Lori Holt's Farm Girl Vintage and Farm Girl Vintage 2 books. It's going to fall because I have more than 1 block. And then the frame gets built around it. These are 12-inch blocks. So I'll show you the blocks that I have for this one. This is the teapot. And then I think the next I have the first 3 sewn in a row. I do. I sewed these all in a row. So I'll just go ahead and hold them up. There's a cherry block. And if you visit my Instagram, you'll see a quilt made entirely of these cherry blocks. I posted my block, and an Instagram friend of mine said, "Hey, I like cherries. Will you make me a cherry quilt?" So I said, "Sure." So I made a cherry quilt. She is a wonderful supporter of our animal sanctuary, and I really appreciate her support. Something I didn't mention about our animal sanctuary. It is a forever home animal sanctuary. We do not adopt out, and most of our animals are special needs. There's something weird about them, or they've been rejected several times, animal hoarding situations, health conditions. We have 3 three-legged desert tortoises. It's a lot. We're always busy. Here is a pair of pears. Hold that back. And a jar of jam. This is really bright and colorful. It should be fun. I'm trying to limit my sew-alongs. I'm also doing a block of the month that I started at the beginning of the year with the Fat Quarter Shop Solid Club. And then I've been doing the Barnstar Sampler. It's a really big quilt. The sew-along I've been able to keep up with so far, but it's getting a little aggressive, so I might break it up to fit my own schedule. I feel an itch. My apologies. Okay, I want to give some special thank yous to some Flosstubers. They've mentioned our shop and our Instagram and our animals over the years, and I really do appreciate it, and I always try and say thank you. And if you have a Flosstube and for some reason I did not put you on my list here, please let me know. It's not intentional. But I think I got everybody. I went back through my Instagram. So the first Flosstube that showed one of my patterns, I want to give a special thank you to Missy and Kathy at 2 Needles Pulling Thread. Kathy was stitching my Happy 4th for me. This was my first pattern I put in the shop, and I really appreciate her showing that. And they've showed a couple of my patterns, so thank you, ladies. I really do appreciate it. That's just so nice. They've got a great Flosstube. In fact, any of these Flosstubes I mentioned, go check them out. They're lots of fun. My little hedgehog pattern, the little happy hedgy ween, this little guy, that was shown in Flosstube by Little Loops Stitching, and I believe she's in England. So thank you. She just put up a new Flosstube. She kind of was out on a break for a little bit, but she also does her own charts. She's a very unique look. If you're into like goth and full coverage and that kind of stuff, definitely check that out. She's done some really cute stuff. Thank you to the ladies at Boss Stitchers. If you don't watch them, you should watch them. They've got a great sense of humor. I enjoy their show a lot. They've shown my, I think it was my Happy Fall chart. I can't remember. But they showed one of my charts, and we did a giveaway once. So thank you, ladies. I appreciate it. And then I've got a couple of really big thank yous. A big thank you to Sarah and Jen at Stitchy Friends. They've shown my stuff several times. Sarah stitches my things. Jen's shown a couple of my things. They've talked about me. They've shown some of the animals. And this summer, it was really nice. I got to visit with Sarah. She was out here on vacation, so I got to meet her. Brought her up here, showed her all the animals, and we picked up my mom, and we went and we had lunch, and then we went to my mom's house and went through all of her stitching. So I'll have to talk to Mom about borrowing some more of her stuff to share with you. She does some really nice stitching, and she stitches a lot faster than me because she's retired. But that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed meeting you, Sarah, and I do appreciate the continued support from your shop, and they've got a great Flosstube. So if you like 2 people Flosstubes. Sorry, I'm getting a little tired. I'm not used to doing this. I don't talk to people during the day, so this is a lot. But definitely check out Stitchy Friends. Lots of fun. And a special thank you to Angie and Penny at 2 Eclectic Stitchers. They are our local, actually, Flosstube, and they've shown my things before, and we've done a giveaway, and once or twice. I really appreciate it, and we actually have a local stitchy group that they started, and that's lots of fun. So if you're in the Phoenix area, definitely look up 2 Eclectic Stitchers, 2 like the number 2, Angie and Penny, and go back and watch some of their videos, and you can get all the information. Let's see. If you like this, I guess I have to say like and subscribe. Thank you, I appreciate it. I hope it wasn't horrible. I will do a giveaway. I'd really appreciate it, even if you're not a big, like, you don't like to buy a lot of small charts and stuff. If you stop by my Etsy and have a look around, if you favorite, I think they call it favoriting things or favoriting the shop, that helps the algorithm and it helps bring other people to the shop. So that's also, it's a good way to follow the shops that you like. When you favorite the shop, you get a notification if they add a new item. So if there's other stitchy shops that you really like someone for project bags, or you really like somebody for frames or somebody else's charts, when you favorite them, it helps their shop, and then it helps keep you up to date on their items. So I'm going to do a giveaway. You can go look in my shop. I think I've got 12 patterns now, and I will give away one of my charts. So if you're interested, I'm going to ask you to comment below. Obviously, I think everybody knows by now what words not to use. Don't say free, giveaway, prize, win, any of those kind of things. But leave me a comment below and use the word zoo. That way I know you're interested in winning a free chart. I think that's everything. I went through my list. As far as what's coming up, if this does well, I'll come back in, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe I'll do a dress up for Halloween or something. Show some, I thought fall stitching might be fun to show next. And I do have some very exciting stitching news. I can't share it yet, but I hope to be able to share it the next time. This has to do with some new charts coming out from somebody else, but it's very exciting and I can't wait to share it. Thank you so much. I hope you don't hear my dog snoring in the background. There's 2 of them behind my quilt and I can hear both of them snoring. Maybe next time I'll bring on one of my dogs. Again, I'll show my information one more time. I'll link it below. Let me know if you want to see some of the animals, which animals you'd like to see. Do you want to see dogs, turtles, tortoises, lizards, hedgehogs, a chinchilla? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you had a good time, and I hope you like and subscribe and come back. So happy stitching. Have a great day.